Worldbuilding Exposition is a make or break test of skill, smarts, and panache. Because even the best worlds suck if they're delivered wrong. Just like the tastiest pizza is horrible if someone rams it down your throat. No pizzas were harmed in the making of this video. I'm Janet, a published author and game writer and a professional world-building consultant. And these are my top 4 sins of world-building exposition, along with how to get it right. Number 1, Maid and Butler dialogue. As you know, Bob, the final ingredient is dragon livers. But if he already knows, why are you telling him? Information exchanged between two characters who both already know the thing feels stilted and artificial. It is a terrible method of exposition, and yet it's such a common one that it has a lot of names. Sci-fi writer Paul Anderson called it an idiot lecture, but it's also commonly referred to as Maid and Butler dialogue, or as you know, Bob. So now that you know what it is, how do you fix Maid and Butler dialogue? Because even if both characters in your world know the information, you do still need to convey it to your audience. And dialogue can be a good exposition tool, as long as it's done right. One common way is by using an audience surrogate. Someone who, like the audience, also needs to learn the information in a natural way. That might be an apprentice, a student, a journalist, or a newbie, and it can be a main character or a side character. You might have several different audience surrogates in different areas of your story. Another good way to convey information is to reveal character or add character attitude to it. What if our initial dialogue was rewritten as, "Ready with the final ingredient, Bob? Bloody dragon livers," Bob muttered. "Why is it never something you can get down the shop?" Now we have some attitude and humour from Bob, while still conveying the same information. Or how about subverting what one character thinks they know? "Dragon livers right here, boss. Actually, I found something rather better in my research." The boss smiled, almost apologetically. "I'm terribly sorry, Bob, but it's your liver we'll be using." Dun, dun, dun. This time, there's a twist. A very high stakes and personal twist, which means the information is still conveyed, but with a lot of added storytelling and drama. These are small tweaks that add dynamite to your stories. As a GM, whenever you have 2 NPCs talking, you can also use these tricks to convey information. Number 2, the learning curve. Ragor glared at the Drovoroi. "Clangor already? Too soon for a Haravi to be collapsed." If this is the first line of your story, then I'm sorry, but you've already lost me. And if you have players, they're already heading for the door. It's good to have your own world-building concepts and terminology, but give too much too soon, and you will leave your audience all at sea. For popular science books, the rule of thumb is you lose half your readers with each equation. I would argue the same is true when you drop random, unexplained words on your players and readers. You need to carefully space these concepts out, so there's not too much all at once. Also, many things can be contextualized from description. If your Drovoroi, yeah, I just made it up, is a large castle, tell me about its towering walls, or its sleek chassis if it's a vehicle. Don't rely on unknown words to convey concepts. Describe how it looks, sounds, and smells, and how it makes your characters feel. Check out our video on sensory world building for more on that. And the final test on this, of course, is contact with your audience. For authors, ask your alpha and beta readers if they got lost. As game masters, we can just watch our players' faces to spot where they've gotten confused. Number 3, the Pygmalion problem. World builders are only human. And just like Pygmalion fell in love with his statue, we fall in love with our settings. We lovingly craft them with intriguing details. We add nuance, structures, and deep below-surface logic that ties everything together in a clever and poetic way. So it's only natural that we want to deliver all of that carefully crafted world building to our readers and players, right? You need to ask yourself, does this information really need to be there? Is it plot relevant, perhaps foreshadowing or conveying critical information? Is it character relevant, leading to a deeper understanding of the characters in your story? Or perhaps it's adding to the mood, the scene, or aesthetic of your world. If it's not doing any of those things, then I have bad news. It might need to go. And if you're absolutely determined to save your world-building details from the chop, why not see if you can turn them into a plot point, a mood motif, or a character moment? When world-building does double duty, your audience will be much more excited about it. Of course, there are always members of our audience who love that deep lore. For them, why not create a World Anvil world that they can explore? You can keep your secrets private and share public things with your audience, all in one easy to use and easy to organise location. Authors can hide spoilers or show secrets only to those who've self-selected that they've read the book. You can also advertise your upcoming books on there, so your readers know what's coming next. Add the URL as a QR code or link in your novel's back matter to start building a community around your books. And Gamemasters can show different players different information, depending on who they are and what they know. So the mage sees different stuff from the fighter, and the elves see secrets that the tabaxi aren't privy to. It's a great location for the details and niche bits of your setting that you're really proud of and you want to showcase outside of your stories and games. And finally, you knew it was coming, let's talk about prologues and opening scenes. Because there's a war against prologues, and I'm kind of with the editors on this one. It all stems from the fact that in the 80s, pretty much every big fantasy series kicked off with a big old exposition dump about the world and the gods, and how everything fit together. One example on my bookshelf goes on for 5 pages, only about how the world is constructed. And Gamemasters, don't you smirk, don't you think you're immune, because They Met in a Tavern is old hat, and if your players spend the first 3 sessions mooching around the market and avoiding the plot hook, then you need to rethink the beginning of your campaign. After all, anything that stands between your audience and the story needs to be exterminated. Instead of a prologue or slow opening scene, 90% of the time, the story starts later than you think. If in doubt, jump into the action and conflict, or in media res, as authors put it, and put likeable characters in complicated situations. Trust that your readers and players are smart enough to pick up on the clues that you're leaving them, and make sure your exposition curve isn't too steep. You can incorporate information from the prologue in another way if it's important, and often in a much more imaginative way. In fact, I did a whole video about my secret tips for getting exposition right, and it's great for reframing all the expo dumps in your prologue or your opening game scenes. You should check it out after this one. Click the link right now to get there next. Oh, but don't forget to subscribe for more world building goodness first. Then grab your hammer and go world build.